When an anti-Trump judge tries to humiliate JD Vance in his courtroom, he believes nobody can touch him. But when his victim fights back, justice strikes with lightning speed, leaving everyone watching in complete shock.
What's up, Patriots?
Your truth warrior here dropping another bombshell they're trying to keep hidden. Let me know in the comments which state you're representing, and let's jump into this incredible takedown of judicial corruption. Federal court was business as usual that morning, except Judge Marshall Davis was especially irritable. I specifically said "no coffee allowed." He yelled at the young clerk, causing her to jump. And informed the defense they have 2 minutes before I start handing out contempt citations. Everyone watched as Davis marched to his position, already red-faced and agitated. He'd always been known for his harshness, but recently his conduct had grown increasingly unhinged, particularly when conservatives were involved. Your Honor, the nervous clerk approached, Vice President Vance has just arrived to testify. Davis's face immediately twisted with disgust. How wonderful, he sneered with obvious hatred. Make sure he understands this isn't Washington. In here, his fancy title means absolutely nothing. The room's atmosphere transformed when JD Vance walked in. He moved confidently but respectfully, acknowledging court personnel with polite nods. Davis observed him intently, fingers impatiently tapping his desk. Let me make one thing absolutely clear, Davis announced with contempt dripping from every word.
Warteverposition you mich holt in DC means nothing here.
In this courtroom, I'm in charge. Understand that, Mr. Vance. The vice president's calm reply seemed to infuriate Davis even more. Perfectly understood, Your Honor. I'm simply here to provide truthful testimony.
Truthful. Davis mocked.
We'll certainly see about that. His attention shifted toward the defense. Let's begin this farce. For the record, Davis interrupted as defense counsel began opening remarks. I'm already sick of these political stunts in my courtroom. He glared pointedly at Vance. This isn't some rally for your supporters. The attorney attempted again. Your Honor, we're merely establishing context regarding Mr. Sterling's charitable.
Context.
Davis barked with a harsh laugh. The only context that matters is your client faces tax evasion charges.
Period.
I don't need to hear fairy tales about so-called charity work. Whenever Sterling's community service was mentioned, Davis cut off the attorney with escalating hostility.
Irrelevant. Move on. Final warning.
His gavel pounded so repeatedly the stenographer struggled to keep pace. When Vance's testimony began, Davis's behavior grew even more erratic. Stand properly for the oath, he snapped, despite Vance's perfect posture, and speak clearly. I won't tolerate political double-talk in my courtroom. Your Honor, Vance began with composure, I can verify Mr. Sterling's complete financial transparency regarding the Faith and Family Foundation. Here we go again, Davis interrupted, rolling his eyes dramatically. Another right-wing fantasy about family values. The audience shifted uncomfortably. Even the prosecutors appeared disturbed by the judge's blatant prejudice. But Davis was just warming up. Let me be perfectly clear, he leaned forward, face flushing. I've dealt with plenty of wealthy conservatives hiding assets behind charitable fronts. Your presence doesn't impress me, Mr. Vice President. If anything, it makes me more suspicious of the defendant. Vance maintained his composure, which seemed to further enrage Davis. The judge's hands noticeably trembled as he shuffled documents, eyes nervously darting to specific papers on his bench. I have here, Vance continued steadily, documented proof of Mr. Sterling's charitable donations, including records from the March Foundation meetings. Those documents are inadmissible. Davis practically screamed, though no objection had been raised. His reaction appeared oddly personal, almost panicked. Your Honor, defense counsel stood. What grounds are you?
Don't question my rulings.
Davis's face turned crimson. One more word and you'll join your client in contempt proceedings. The prosecutor shifted uncomfortably. This had moved beyond judicial discretion into something resembling a personal vendetta. Your Honor, Vance spoke calmly but firmly, these documents were properly submitted during the discovery process.
Oh really?
Davis sneered. And I suppose your White House connections had nothing to do with that? Let me tell you something about your type, Mr. Vice President. You think your political status lets you strut into my courtroom and…
Objection, Your Honor.
The defense attorney found his courage. This is completely inappropriate conduct.
Sie längse.
Davis roared, slamming his gavel with such force the sound reverberated through the room. I will not be lectured about proper conduct in my own court, especially by some right-wing puppet and his. Your Honor, Vance interjected calmly, perhaps we should examine the specific details of the March 15th meeting. Davis's demeanor changed instantly and dramatically. The rage on his face gave way to something else. Was it fear? His hand stopped mid-air with the gavel. He stared at Vance as if suddenly recognizing him. Those meetings have no relevance to these proceedings, he stammered, his voice suddenly uncertain. But his eyes kept flicking toward a particular folder on his bench that seemed to have appeared just that morning.
Not relevant.
Vance asked quietly. That's curious, Your Honor, since those meetings directly concern charitable contributions to.
Enough.
Davis slammed both hands down. One more mention of those meetings and you'll be removed immediately. Everyone watched in silence as the judge visibly unraveled. His hands were now obviously shaking as he rearranged papers, desperately attempting to regain control. In fact, Davis continued, his voice becoming manic, I'm holding you in contempt right now.
You think your government position protects you?
You're just another Trump sycophant in expensive clothing. Your Honor, Vance remained unfazed, my position is irrelevant here. But since you mentioned protection, should we discuss the Liberty Foundation's protection payments? Davis's face instantly drained of color. How dare you, what payments? There were never any security. Remove him from my courtroom. The court officers hesitated, exchanging uncertain looks. Davis had crossed a line, and everyone recognized it. Actually, Your Honor, Vance reached for his briefcase, I have some fascinating bank statements here. Would you care to explain these monthly offshore deposits that strangely coincide with your rulings against conservative defendants?
Shoot your mood.
Davis shouted, completely abandoning judicial decorum.
You have no authority here. I am the law. Me.
Not some conservative lapdog who. Vance calmly displayed a document. Your signature on these authorization forms indicates otherwise, Your Honor. The judge's next action shocked everyone, including his staff. He lurched forward, pointing a shaking finger at Vance. Those were planted.
This is a setup.
A right-wing conspiracy too, he caught himself, but too late. His outburst had revealed more than any evidence could.
A conspiracy. Vance echoed softly.
Interesting terminology, Your Honor. Especially considering your private meetings with certain activist organizations. I refuse to be interrogated in my own courtroom. Davis was nearly foaming at the mouth. You waltz in here with your arrogant expression and your so-called evidence. He spat the word like poison. Evidence, Vance continued calmly, revealing a troubling pattern. Like last month's Thompson case, where a small business owner lost everything because you refused to admit evidence of his charitable activities. Just like today. Davis's laugh bordered on hysterical.
The Thompson case?
That right-wing fraud got exactly what he deserved. They all deserve it. These people hide behind religion and family values while. Or perhaps, Vance interrupted, producing another document, we should examine the Wilson hearing, where you mysteriously sealed all records immediately after meeting with Liberty Foundation representatives. The judge's face twitched violently. How could you possibly know about? He stopped abruptly, realizing his mistake. Know about what exactly, Your Honor? The meeting itself, or the $100,000 that appeared in your offshore account the very next day? Murmurs erupted throughout the courtroom. Davis pounded his gavel repeatedly, each strike increasingly desperate.
Order. Order.
I demand order. His voice cracked with panic. This is completely fabricated. A conservative plot too. Like Mrs. Anderson's case?
Vance pressed.
An elderly grandmother who lost her entire savings because you wouldn't allow her to explain the money source? Interesting how the corporation suing her contributed to your campaign fund just weeks earlier.
Sie längse.
Davis screamed, completely unhinged. You have no right. No authority.
I control this court. Me.
No, Your Honor, Vance's calm voice cut through the chaos. You don't control the law. You're supposed to serve it. Like when you took your oath. The same day you opened your Cayman Islands account. Davis stood up, robes disheveled, wildly gesturing at Vance. Security.
Arrest him for contempt. Confiscate those documents. All of them. Now.
What are you waiting for? Davis screamed at the hesitating officers.
That's an order. Arrest him.
Before that happens, Your Honor, Vance spoke with complete composure, shouldn't we discuss why you're so desperate to seize these particular documents? I don't answer to you.